Hey guys! I know I've taken a break for a couple of weeks. I was talking, the last couple of weeks I've been talking to, probably one of my best friends. Um, I'll say he is my best friend. Um, Sunday afternoons, and also I just haven't really had much of a motivation. I've still practiced, I've still done things for church, which I have to practice my offertory for tonight. Pick out one for a couple weeks. You know, it's all good. We're gonna get it. But anywho, I just really haven't had motivation to be here on YouTube. I've wanted to be, but never really gotten that motivation. So, and Jacob, if you are watching, yes, I did change my cardigan, so I did not look like a bumblebee. I'm wearing a yellow skirt. Let's see, I don't know if y'all can see it, but see, I was wearing a yellow skirt, and I had a black cardigan on earlier. Like, I look like a bumblebee. Send him a picture. I'm like, be honest, do I look like a bumblebee? And I did. But anywho, I changed to be more fall-like and to match my other best friend, because we've been trying to match every Sunday before she gets married next month. But anywho, as you can see from the title, we are doing it's kind of a classical piece. Okay, the tune is classical. It's a Beethoven piece. His Ode to Joy, or Hymn of Joy, whatever you want to call it. But the author, Henry Van Dyke, which he might be related to Dick Van Dyke now that I think about it. But Henry Van Dyke, he wrote the lyrics, and as we'll see in the backstory in a moment, he gave it to someone, gave the lyrics to someone. He's like, this needs to be sung to Beethoven's Hymn of Joy. No other piece. I'm like, okay, sure, fine, okay. So we are going to jump right in. I am using My Trusty Then Sings My Soul by Robert J. Morgan, published by Thomas Nelson. And that's where all of my information is. And we all know I don't read the whole article. I just give a little snippet here and there. I did have another one planned, but I left that book in the car. And everyone except my brother and I are taking a nap, and I did not want to wake the dog, get him barking, and wake mom and dad, and then we have a whole mess in the house. So I picked this one up really quick. So Henry Jackson Van Dyke, he was born in Pennsylvania in 1852. Now, if you remember from history, that's about 8 or 10 years before the Civil War. When he was older, he became the pastor of the Brick Presbyterian Church in New York City. And there's a little asterisk in the book, and it goes down to a footnote. His resignation from Brick Church in 1899 paved the way for Maltby Babcock to be called as pastor. And apparently, Maltby Babcock wrote the story to This Is My Father's World, which I might do that next week. And side note, I have not forgotten my request for Ivory Palaces. I'm not as familiar with that hymn. It's in my hymnal. I've been trying to practice that, get a little more familiar with it, and also try to find the backstory, because none of my books have the backstory to that. And I want to be sure I can summarize it from an online article fairly well as be able to play it well. That was a little side note. Back to Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee. Henry Van Dyke later became a professor of English literature. Like Brit Lit is what it was. Yeah, Brit Lit is what we called it at Pensacola Christian College. Just kind of, short to the point. This is what I'm taking. I didn't have to take it. When I was I started a music major, and then I switched to a two-year office degree. Did not have to take any literature. So there we go. And I did not have to take the hardest Bible class either. My sister was jealous of that. And while he was a professor at Princeton, he became an author of many popular books, one of which is still pretty popular today, which I kind of want to look into it now. It's called The Other Wise Man. And Robert Morgan doesn't give any other information about that book in this article, so it might be good to look up. In 1907, Mr. Van Dyke was invited to preach at Williams College in Massachusetts. Now, a big Christian college at the time. Now, he had breakfast with some of the professors the next morning, and that was where he handed the college president a piece of paper with the lyrics to "Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee." And direct quote, he says, "Here is a hymn for you. Your mountains, the Berkshires, were my inspiration, and it must be sung to the music of Beethoven's Hymn of Joy." Now, he was later asked what he was feeling when he wrote this hymn, and he says, another direct quote, "These verses are simple expressions of common Christian feelings and desires in this present time. Hymns of today that may be sung together by people who know the thought of the age and are not afraid that any truth of science will destroy religion or any revolution on earth overthrow the kingdom of heaven. Therefore, this is a hymn of trust and joy and hope." And we know he was not wrong in saying the truth of science, because science always backs up God. Science always backs up the Bible. You know, that story, the true story in the Bible where, cannot remember. I want to say it was Hezekiah, where, you know, Isaiah goes to Hezekiah and asks, "What sign would you like for God to prove himself that you will live another 15 years? I believe that's the story. Maybe getting it confused. Please don't quote me on that. Look it up yourself, and I will look it up after I'm done with this video. And Hezekiah says, "Turn the sundial back 15 spaces, whatever. However it was." And the Lord made that happen. Joshua was fighting a battle. The sun stood still for almost a full 24 hours. I want to say like 23 and a half, 23 3/4 hours, something like that. And that is why we have leap years every 4 years. Science always backs up with God and the Bible. And this hymn is an expression of that. Now, I did not realize until I pulled out my hymnal, and I'm using the Rejoice hymns from Majesty Music, because this hymn is not in the hymnal that I normally use. And I can't think of the word. It's not ironically, but I guess appropriately, this hymn is hymn number 1 in the book. I was only familiar with the first stanza, but there are 3 others. And I'm going to go ahead and read the verses to you, and then I'll go ahead and play it. So the first verse, "Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, opening to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with the light of day. All thy works rejoice around thee, earth and heaven reflect thy rays. Stars and angels sing around thee, center of unbroken praise. Field and forest, vale and mountain, flowery meadow, flashing sea, chanting bird and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Thou art giving and forgiving, ever blessing, ever blessed, wellspring of the joy of living, ocean depth of happy rest. Thou our Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to the joy divine. Mortals join the mighty chorus, which the morning stars began. Father love is reigning o'er us, Brother love binds man to man. Ever singing, march we onward, victors in the midst of strife. Joyful music leads us sunward in the triumph song of life. Pretty neat. I was only familiar with verse 1, like I said. Sing that all day. I did not realize there were 3 other verses. So I'm going to attempt to play it. I have an arrangement that is stuck in my head, but I did not want to pull that out. So we're just going to stick with the hymnal. Joyful, joyful, we adore thee. Yes, I did mess up when I did the flowing chords, but that's all right. We know that I never play anything perfectly anyway. So, but I hope this has been a blessing to you. I hope that you learned something like I did. And I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. And I will probably be making some more just like standalone videos and like not anything in like a series or anything, just recording some hymns that you can use for church. If you don't have a pianist or if you want to worship at home, probably just record some hymns, no talking, no explaining or anything. And I will be doing some like fun songs like Disney, or I do have some pieces from How to Train Your Dragons trilogy that I want to learn and do. But yeah, I mainly will be focusing on hymns and hymn arrangements, but I want to do something more with my channel than just hymn backstories. So, and this is what I think will be good, what will motivate me to practice more and to be on here more. But yeah, anyway, so that's my plan. And like I said, I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday or whenever you watch this. And I will see you next time. Bye.